Hello! Today we're going to be making some green pasta sauce. It's a great sauce if you're trying to switch things up from a tomato sauce, and it's actually a great way to use kale. So you need a couple ingredients here. Of course, you need kale, which is kind of the main bulk of this meal. You're going to need some kidney beans. You're going to need some leafy green of some sort. So in this case, we're using chopped spinach. But you could use Swiss chard, you could use beet greens, you could use radish greens. It's kind of to help smooth out the kale. You're also going to need some oil, some lemon juice, basil, Italian seasoning, which if you want to learn how to make your own Italian seasoning, we have a link in the description for you. You're also going to need some garlic powder, and of course, salt and pepper to taste. And in terms of tools, you're going to need a pot to boil everything in. You're going to need an emulsion blender or some sort of high-powered blender, food processor, or anything like that, measuring cups and measuring spoons.
And just a note, for this recipe, we do recommend that you use kidney beans or some other soft bean of your choice, because this helps kind of smooth out the sauce and thicken it as well. So using something firm like chickpeas might make it a little bit chunky, which is not the texture that we're going for. Red kidney beans or white kidney beans are a great option for this. Also, if you'd like to learn how to make your own beans from the dried beans that you can find in the store, we have a video for you in the description. Alright, so we're ready to start washing our full head of kale. This is curly kale, so what we're going to do is actually remove the leaves. We're not going to use the stem today. So the way that you want to remove the leaves is just kind of by tightening your grip as much as you can on the actual stem itself and pulling towards yourself. So that will get the vast majority of the leaves. We're going to put that in our sieve and we're going to wash the leaves really well, especially because we have curly kale today. Whoops. You do need a little bit of pressure behind that, so that's why that happened. But especially with curly kale, a lot can be held in the curls themselves, similar to curly parsley, so we want to make sure that we're washing this as well as possible. As I mentioned, we're not using the stem today, but I will be putting these in a bowl. If you like, you can wash them, trim any kind of rough edges like that, and you can freeze them, put them in smoothies, or you can keep them raw and then pickle them if you like. So that's the general process, and we're going to keep doing that with all the stems of kale that we have. So again, pinch, and then just kind of pull it towards you. Pull the stem away from you and the leaves towards you. So all of our leafy greens are pulled from the kale stems. We're not going to use the stems themselves today, but like I mentioned before, you can wash them, freeze them, use them in smoothies, or you can also wash them and pickle them. Or if you don't like stems at all, then go ahead and compost those. Now we're going to be focusing on the leaves themselves. So we need to make sure we're giving these a nice good rinse, because again, these are curly. If you have flat leaf parsley, if you have flat leaf kale, it won't be so much of an issue. But I like to make sure that these are washed really thoroughly because a lot of dirt can be held in these little curls. And the way I like to try and gauge as much as possible if these are truly deep cleaned is the color of the kale itself. If it's still that dusty green, then it likely needs a little bit more of a wash. If it's a more vibrant green, then you're probably good to go. It's not a perfect science, so it's not 100% for sure, but generally speaking, if it's not dusty looking anymore, then you're probably good. And this will take a little while. There's our clean kale. Now we are going to add it to our pot. So we will need water in here. We're going to add just enough to cover and then maybe about an inch or so above it. And you'll likely notice that the kale at this point is actually floating a bit. We do want to try and cover it as much as possible because we are going to be boiling it, so that will soften the kale. Okay, so for this amount of kale, I did end up using about 8 cups. The reason why we want extra water in there is because we will be also adding spinach eventually, so the volume will change. So just to be a little bit ahead of the game, we've added extra water already. Okay, at this point, the next step is to cover it, and we're going to put it on high heat. The goal with this is to boil it until the kale is very, very tender. If you're familiar with kale, you'll notice that it's quite dense and almost leathery at times when it's raw. So we want to soften it and make it more malleable so that when we blend it, it does become more of a smooth sauce. So the kale's been boiling for about 5 minutes now. The color of the kale itself has turned far more vibrant. The water is also starting to color a little bit. And the kale is softened a little bit, but not quite as much as I'd like to make this nice smooth sauce. So I'm gonna leave it boiling for probably about another 5 minutes. I'm gonna put the lid on, and just a note, I did lower the heat a little bit from max to 7, so medium-high heat. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes. Our kale looks like it's nice and soft. So our next step is to actually turn off the heat. We're going to now take our spinach and add 1 cup. So because we don't actually need to cook the spinach, we're just going to defrost and wither it in the very, very hot water here. And clean hands. Gotta make sure all that spinach gets in there. Just stir that in so it gets all defrosted and withered. And this is much easier to gauge if you have fresh spinach. You can literally see the leaves kind of crumple and literally wither. Seems like the chopped spinach is probably good to go. So at this point, this is when we're going to drain the water. Now, there is a chance that you might need to add a little bit more water later on in the recipe. So you can either reserve some of this water if you like, or you can rinse it out entirely. Today we're going to be rinsing it out entirely. And we've got our strainer from when we washed the kale. We're just going to drain this now. And ideally, using fresh spinach or larger chopped spinach is better in this case, just because you don't lose so much in the process. Shake that out a little bit. It's okay if there's still a little bit of water, that's going to help with the blending. Just want to make sure it gets all in there. And a good amount of our spinach is still there, so that's perfect. Just going to squeegee the rest of it here. Trying not to waste too much of that spinach. That would be a shame. Okay. Good one. So this is off the heat now, but it is still quite hot. So that's the reason why it's still steaming. These are our drained, very soft kidney beans. You can also use white kidney beans or another soft bean to make it nice and smooth. So at this point, we're going to blend everything together, and depending on the consistency that we get once everything is more or less pureed, we may or may not need to add a little bit of water and oil. So we're using an immersion blender today, this stick blender, but if you have a smoothie maker, then that works too. So I'm thinking we will need some water. I'm gonna add about a cup of water back. That's my bad, it's a little drier than I thought, and usually it comes out a little bit wetter than this, so. But, you know, kitchen things change all the time, so you adapt as you go. We've got our green sauce relatively smooth at this point. I'm just gonna try and see if we can get it any smoother by adding a little bit of fat. So I'm just using a neutral oil. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of neutral oil. And I'm gonna give that another blend. And hopefully it can get a little smoother. It will never be 100% smooth because the leaves will still be in little chunks, but this should help it a little bit more. So we've given it a nice mixing with the immersion blender. Again, you can use whichever blender you have on hand. You might need to do it in batches if you're using a smaller blender. This point is where we get to add our flavoring. So right now it's just a plain green sauce with kale, spinach, water, and oil.
And beans.
And beans. So that's why it's a little bit thicker now. Now to flavor things, we're gonna add a few herbs and spices. We're gonna start with our garlic powder. This is a tablespoon of garlic powder. We're going to also add a teaspoon of basil. So I'm using the half teaspoon measure, but this will be a full teaspoon, just because our regular teaspoon doesn't really fit in there. Next is a teaspoon of pepper and a teaspoon of salt. And we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of our Italian seasoning. If you'd like to learn how to make this yourself, check out our description. So 1 and 2 tablespoons. The last thing we're going to add is a tablespoon of lemon juice. We're going to mix this all in, not with the blender, but we're just going to fold it in with the spatula that we have there. And if you have it, you can also either add Parmesan directly into the sauce, or you can top your pasta with Parmesan when you're serving. Or really any other cheese you like, if that interests you.
Asiago would actually be a good supplement for Parmesan. It's cheaper and honestly a little more flavorful.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more aged, so it has a bit more bite to it. But if you don't have either, then this works great. And the nice thing about this sauce is that the longer it sits, so this is obviously more than enough for one pasta sauce, so this is used bit by bit as needed. But the longer this sits in your fridge, the more the flavors get kind of soaked in there. Because of the dry herbs, they'll rehydrate in the sauce. So tomorrow this will taste different than today.
This is actually a really good sauce to go with most, if not all, pastas. It goes great with spaghetti noodles. It would go well with a ravioli, probably with a gnocchi as well.
Yep. So if you ever feel like mixing it up from your tomato sauce, this is a good way to do it, and you get tons of greens in it too.
And just like our tomato sauce, you just want to jar it. So the jars are both cleaned and sanitized.
This will also keep for a week, maximum 2 in the fridge.
There you go. So we got 1 jar so far.
But we wanted to make sure that we'd made a pasta sauce that wasn't watery. It's nice and dense, so you get some flavor in every bite.
So our recipe tonight made us about 3 pints total of this sauce, which, you know, this is, you know, the old style tomato sauce jars, and it made 1.5 of these.
This volume will also depend on the size of the kale that you have. So if you have a kale head that was much larger than what we use today, you'll likely end up with 2 full pints. A good rule of thumb with this is, because the kale amount does vary, is to taste test just before you jar it to make sure you don't need any more salt or any more garlic powder, any of the seasonings that we added at the end. If you had a lot more kale than what we have, you can potentially double that. Cheers to good food
And good company.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Check out the description for our full recipe with substitution suggestion.
And we also have links for some more recipes in the description, some of which may have been used in this video.
If you like what we do, head over to our Ko-fi store and leave us a tip, or buy a copy of our recipes in a printable format.
And as an homage to peak YouTube era, don't
Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe!